According to the National Missing Persons Database, more than 600,000 people are reported missing a year. Also, over 4,000 bodies are recovered in a year that are unidentified. Many of these missing people are runaways. Some are taken by relatives, and more are taken by strangers. But how many of them are taken by Bigfoot? In June of 1987, it said that Theresa Bier was. This is her story. I took a week off for the 4th of July holiday, and I'll maybe take next week off. I'm not totally sure. It's July 17th, and tomorrow is my birthday. So, like a fellow YouTuber says all the time, Cinnamon Toast Ken, if today's your birthday, happy birthday. If tomorrow's your birthday, happy birthday. And so forth and so forth. It's extremely bittersweet, though, for my birthday. In 2020, my dad died the day after my birthday, so I don't really celebrate it. But anyhow, on with Theresa and her story. Oof, a cat. Before I start, I want to say, if you are not subscribed, please subscribe, like, share. Please comment. That's the only way I know if I'm doing good or not. And if you tell the type of content you want to see, it's a better chance that I will actually do it. So, with that being said, on to Theresa Bier. Theresa Bier was born April 16th in 1971 to Shirley and David Bier. At an early age, Theresa was abused by her parents. Her mother even twisted her leg until it broke one time. Social services came in and took Theresa and her other siblings. They were placed into foster care. Shirley and David got divorced, and David decided to fight for custody. He was now married to Margie Richmond. Margie was originally married to Shirley's half-brother, John Richmond. Theresa went to live with David, Margie, and her two daughters. Margie was not any better than Shirley. She would lock the fridge and feed herself while her children and Theresa would go hungry watching her eat. Eventually, Theresa went to live with her great-grandmother in Fresno, and soon her uncle was granted custody. Her uncle was none other than John Richmond. So, the half-brother to her mother. His nickname was Blind Johnny. Apparently Johnny was blind from playing Russian roulette, and it was an accident. And there are people that thought that he could see, though. He was 42, and he had two daughters with Margie, and then two sons with a prostitute. So, at this time that he got Theresa, he was dating Tamara Newman, who was only 17 years old, and living with him. Yeah. Theresa was described as a slow learner and immature by the school. It's said that Theresa would miss school often to babysit for her uncle. And there were rumors that her uncle and his friends were abusing her often in many different ways. So, on the morning of June 1st, 1987, I can't speak. Russell Sheldon Welch, known as Skip. I'll refer to him as Skip the rest of the time. He came to the house to pick up Theresa for a camping trip. She told friends at school that she was going to be missing school for a couple days because she was going on a trip. Skip was 43 at the time. He was a house painter and a meth addict. His wife had previously died of an overdose. Theresa was only 16. So, Skip and Theresa left to go on their camping trip. Later that morning, though, Blind Johnny got a call from the school asking about Theresa being absent from school, and he said that she was homesick. Well, he spent the rest of the day searching for her. He called friends and neighbors, and nobody had seen her. And for some odd reason, he didn't know his friend took her. But later that evening, he reported her missing to the Fresno police. Before going to the mountains, though, Skip and Theresa went to his daughter's house. This was Chandra Welsh. He was having trouble with his car, so he went there to fix it up. Later, Chandra would be talking to the police, and I'll get into that. But they left for the Sierra Nevada mountain range, and this was the last anyone would ever see Theresa. So, back home, the Fresno police were questioning everybody. Since Skip was at Theresa's home, they went looking for him. They spoke to Chandra, and she stated that he and Theresa had stopped by on their way to the mountains. She also stated that they were going to Shut Eye Peak. She stated that she had known her father had a bad habit of taking young girls to the mountains, and he would use drugs and lure them into having sex. She feared this is what happened to Theresa, but the other girls always came home safe. On June 5th, Skip's car was spotted in the town of North Fork near the mountains. He had visited a friend named Dorothy Davis. She told the police that Skip was upset about a young girl he was caring for. He told Dorothy that the girl was taken by a satanic group and was being held in the Sierra. She just assumed that he was high and didn't really give it any thought until she was being questioned by the police. One day, Blind Johnny got a call from a female telling him that Skip had a gun and told her to call him. She stated that Skip wanted Johnny to know that he would make trouble for him if he didn't tell the police that Skip had taken Theresa to school and dropped her off there, and that some blonde woman picked her up. A few days later, though, Skip was arrested at his mom's home. They took him to the station to question him. This is where it gets very odd. Skip was obsessed with Bigfoot. He stated that they went up to the mountains to observe a large number of them that were in the mountains living in caves. He stated that he had communicated with them many times. And his story with Theresa kept changing. First, he said that he dropped her off at school. Then he said that they went to go visit Bigfoot. He then said that she ran off with a woman that she met up at the campgrounds. Then he said that she left with some other campers. Lastly, he finally stuck with this story that she was so excited about seeing the Bigfoot that she ran off to live with them. He said that he searched for her but could not find her or the Bigfoot again. At one point, without even being questioned about it, Skip said that if they ever did find Theresa, they wouldn't find any signs of sexual abuse in any way, even though she wanted to have sex with him. She was underage, so he knew he would not cross that line with her. Yeah. Skip ended up taking the police out to his campsite. There they found evidence that people had camped there. They found a camera, a purse, an off-white colored bra, and a t-shirt. They developed the camera film, and it showed pictures of Skip playing a guitar and Theresa. But they noticed that the topography of the pictures were from another area of the Sierra Mountains. Eventually he told them where the location was, and they figured out that this campsite was staged. So they went to the other location and extensively searched it. They actually searched both campsites. A helicopter flew back and forth looking through the wooded areas, and they actually located a shirt that ended up being Skip's. They knew this because it had meth in the pocket, but he confirmed it was his. They also had bloodhounds out there, which did pick up Theresa's scent at one time, but they lost it in the woods. With the evidence that they had, they decided to charge Skip with child endangerment and child stealing. The prosecution tried to offer him a 1-year sentence if Skip would sign a waiver allowing them to go forward with murder charges if her body was ever located. Skip refused. He also was offered a light sentence if he would confess and show the body, or show the police where her body was. He refused and stuck with the Bigfoot story. The prosecution ended up dropping all charges because they did not want any case of double jeopardy, so then they could actually charge him with murder later on once they found her body, or if they found her body. Unfortunately, she was never found. Even though many people believed Skip killed her, there were still some out there that thought maybe the speed freak killers had abducted her and killed her. I'll probably cover them in a different thing. But at the same time, there was a group of 2 men called the Speed Freak Killers who were killing people in the same area. So yeah, she was never found. Blind Johnny died around 2008, and Skip died in 1998. You know, whatever happened to Theresa, apparently probably Skip is the only one that knows. It's one of those sad stories, and I've done another one on a kidnapped victim that they've never found. And it's just sad because people don't get closure. You know, I'd love to imagine that she is happy someplace. You know, maybe she escaped from him. Maybe she did run away with another group of people and is living a happy life someplace. That's great. And I Theresa, if that's true, I wish you the best. But as a realist, I really don't think that's happened. I'm assuming Skip killed her, but this was 1987. You know, his own daughter said that he took multiple girls up there. And in what I was reading, they actually interviewed one girl that was 17 that he took up there and enticed into sex Why was he not being charged for that stuff? Her dad, or her uncle, was, Blind Johnny, was dating a 17-year-old. And she was living with him. I mean, unless I don't know anything, maybe in 1987 it was legal for 17-year-olds to consent to things like that. I wouldn't think so, but who knows? But 43? I mean, I could see if they're like 20 consenting, but that's one thing. But 43, man, he's old enough to be your dad. What's in these guys' heads? So, it's just, I hate that people get hurt and die. So, and I'm not going to ramble. Like I said before, I might take next week off because, tomorrow's my birthday, and the next day is my dad's death day. So I kind of just veg to myself for a couple days. But please like, share, subscribe. The more subscribers, the better content I can make for you. It makes me feel liked. It makes me feel loved. Makes me know that I'm doing a good thing. I really enjoy the comments. So please do so. And until next time, be good to each other, be good to yourselves. Love you, and thank you for watching. Please come back. Thank you. See ya.